Well, good afternoon, ladies. This is Fireside Chat with Debbie Marks, and it is Friday, July 12th. Okay, where's the summer gone? I have no clue other than I have a great tan. So,
You have, oh, yeah, you can buy a pool, right? I
yeah,
was going to ask if you had a farmer's stand.
no, this has been poolside gathering. Um, Today I am going off the norm, and I decided that we are just going to have some fun conversation. Half the summer's gone, and so I came up with some questions, and we're gonna the beginning question, the first question. Well, here's what my theme is. How has your summer been going? So, so in one word or two, how has your summer been so far?
Good.
Kathy?
I had to find my mute button. Crazy, crazy, busy.
Okay, so next question would be, have you been able to accomplish your summer goal or goals?
I didn't have a necessarily summer goal. I had goals that I accomplished this summer, which is the newsletter that I
Good,
put together and doing a little more on my blog. I
yes,
got all my contacts in my HubSpot, so I can actually send out that newsletter. I can make a folder for the people I went to get the newsletter, but I had to. So and got the office done,
yes.
and I got the bathroom done. So
Those are big accomplishments, really. And by the way, your office looks great.
thank you. It's very, it's the other side is very Zen-like.
That's okay. Kathy, what were some of your goals that you've accomplished?
Well, mine's a little different because, and I'm in the rooms now trying to get this room ready for the guests to show up. Mine's been a little different because we had our biggest flip ever in the real estate business. We had a gal that had rented from me, not only commercially, but also one of my units that she lived in. So she had rented two spaces. One was actually an office space, and then one was a house. Well, they were there 7 years, and the house was probably the biggest flip we've ever done once they moved out. We had to tear it out, clear down to the subfloors and rebuild the house. And so it was a huge cost to the point where I had to go and refinance the house to get enough cash to flip it. And it's taken, I normally can flip a house in a weekend from one tenant to another. And this one has taken 8 weeks. So, yeah, so I wasn't prepared for all that, but I did okay, got on top of it, got it refinanced, got the cash, and just signed a lease last night for a new couple to rent the house. We even reached a point where we thought we might have to sell it instead of flipping it if the cost got to be too high.
Yeah.
Then discovered that I couldn't even sell it because the gal that had also rented space from one of my commercial buildings when I had the salons, she never paid her sales tax. So the state of Ohio has put a lien, actually 8 liens, against my house to the tune of $22,000. So I couldn't even sell it.
Oh my God.
So anyway, so that's what I have been working through. So, but we're on the downhill side. The house is beautiful, all new interior. I mean, we're talking new doors, new carpet, new appliances, new counters, new everything. It looks like a brand new house. So
Wow.
it's beautiful.
Okay, Kathy.
So that's how my summer's been going.
That's
Okay,
a house with
so
the
I
dogs.
got it.
Had so many dogs.
What, Sally?
Kathy, is that the house with the dogs?
Yes. Yes, that's the house with the dogs. They decided to, for lack of a better way to describe it, when I describe it this way, everybody gets it. They decided to have a puppy mill in the living room.
Bah. So how many puppies or dogs?
I don't know. They had a lot
Oh,
because they were breeding and selling. So I don't know how many they had over the years they were there.
I bet it smelled really good. Huh?
Well, that's just it. We had to tear the whole house almost down to get rid of the smell.
yeah, you have to.
Yeah, we had to tear everything out. Everything had to go in a dumpster. The whole interior of the house, clear down to the subfloors, had to go in a dumpster.
Kathy, you made a statement, and for those that might be listening to the recording, when you find out that there's a lien against your property, but it's in somebody else's name, just briefly, what's your recourse on this? How can you get
Well,
this taken
yeah,
care of?
it's not something that can happen quickly. So at this point, I have to get an attorney, and we basically have to prove through the court systems that she had no ownership in the house. It's kind of like when somebody passes and everything goes into probate, the judge's whole job is to make sure that somebody didn't promise somebody something that's not in writing that somebody might have a record of. And that's what probate is for, is to make sure everybody gets the right people get all the right stuff. So in this case, they don't know, maybe I gave her, 10% ownership or something. And so I have to go to court to prove that the house is all mine and that she had no ownership. And so she, of course, gets subpoenaed in as well to tell her side of the story.
Mhm.
And she doesn't have any ownership, didn't have any ownership. And so it's just a process now that I just have to go through until I get the liens released. It's
Wow.
just a process. She
Yeah.
may not even know the state did it. The state's just looking for something to grab a hold of to get their money.
Oh. Well, yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So she may not even know that the state attached the house she was living in.
How can she not know that she owes that much money?
Well, she knows she owes it, but she may not know that they attached my house for it.
Wow. Wow. Oh, well.
And don't
Lesson
get me wrong,
learned.
she's a sweet kid. They were always very nice, very sweet. She worked for me for years in the salon industry,
Mhm.
and she's a sweet kid, and I wish them well, and all is well. It's just part of the process. It was definitely a learning curve for me, and it was just part of the process of getting the house back.
Wow. That's another expense you didn't plan on.
Oh no, didn't see that one coming at all.
Yeah, but you can do a higher rent now, though. Right?
I can, but we put 35,000 into the flip, so it'll take me a minute to recoup.
Yeah, but at least it's doable.
Yes, very doable.
Okay, so if we want to move on, aren't you glad that, Kathy, aren't you glad that you are so in tune with the real estate laws and everything, and this isn't your first flip, that you were able to overcome it, even though you find out about the lien, but you were able to, like I said, you're going to overcome it and you're going to move on, and it's not going to scare you from doing anything else.
No, it all comes down to mindset. And so I guess the moral of the story is whatever happens in your life, to just kind of watch it like a movie, because oftentimes you have no power over what's happening.
Right.
And so at some point you have to just let it go.
Yeah. Well, so Sally, have you been anywhere interesting this summer? so far?
We went, oh, this summer, shoot, what have I done this summer? Uh, no, we're going to Connecticut next month.
No,
And we'll
that's,
plan, and once we get, if we get the insurance money back, we'll plan another trip somewhere or go on short trips. Ed wants to go to Cooperstown. He'd really like to go to the Smithsonian Flight Museum in DC.
mhm.
We'd like to go out west to the national parks, like in Utah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that state.
I've been traveling vicariously through other people.
Well, hey, that's okay. I mean, because it just reminds you of where you want to go.
Well, it does that, and plus, it's like I would say, I plan other people's vacations like I'm planning my own. You
Yeah.
know, so I put a lot of thought and care into making sure people have the vacations that's right for them. So I just finished up. I had done a Hawaii trip for a couple a few years ago. They were celebrating their 5th anniversary. He died last year,
Oh,
and she found an insurance policy that they didn't know existed. So she is going with her 5 kids back to Hawaii next April. And you're going to be there on her late husband's birthday. So that was a really special one to put together.
yeah.
It wasn't easy, but it was special to put together.
Wow. 5 kids? How long were they married?
Well, wait a minute. So I think there's 6 going. I think 2 might be like in-laws, or boyfriend, girlfriend, thing like that. She's just 62.
Oh, that's
Well,
a shame.
of course, so was I. 62 when John died.
I know.
Today would have been his birthday. He'd
Oh,
be 84 years old today.
whoa. Can't believe it already. I mean, really. Uh,
Been almost 9 years,
yeah, I know.
but it's good.
Life's good. I mean,
Life's good.
it is. It is. Kathy, so with besides flipping and taking 8 weeks to fix a house, have you been been able to go anywhere?
No, as a matter of fact, I had the trip all planned because we go down to our condo in Sarasota every 6 weeks. And I actually pushed it out till August because I knew I needed to get this flip across the finish line. So just decided to just wait, push it out. That's the fun part of being self-employed like I am.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to get my boss's permission, to move my schedule around.
Right.
So I just looked at everything. Mark and I talked about it. We finally said, you know what? We need to just wait on this trip.
Yeah. And I
So
understand.
I'm sorry.
I understand. I mean, really, that's your priority. I mean, that's how you're able to become a passive income.
Yeah,
person.
that's what holds the tent up on a regular basis. So I
Good way
had
to
to,
put it.
yeah, I had to do, and I coach that in my coaching program. And a lot of my students, they just think it's all fun to have passive income and that you never have to work. And I said, that's not what passive income means. Passive means that you can do the work once and then you can benefit from it for a while. But sometimes you have to circle back and do some more work.
Right, right. And you also have
It's
to
what
keep
it is.
learning. If you don't keep learning along with, doing the work, it'll dry up, won't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, these properties, as I like to say, they run on money. So somebody has to manage that and keep everything, going in the right direction.
Right,
Yeah.
right. right. I totally agree. And you get to a certain point in your life where you go, I've had way too much fun, way too long. And what am I going to do? Am I going to go back to what I was doing, or am I going to start something new? And a lot of people, they have difficulty answering that question. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, I have it all down into a system of management. Again, the only time that we get called front and center is when we have a move out. And then I get to decide every time we have a move out, how much of this flip am I going to do and how much of it am I going to hire someone else to do?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have people in place to do that.
Yes, yes. And then I still get to decide whether I want to do some of it to save money or whether I just want to pay for all of it.
Right.
And if
Right.
we're traveling, we end up paying for all of it. And that's why we decided, well, let's just hold off on the trip this time and do some of it ourselves and save some money.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're going back in August?
We are. We're headed back to the condo in August. We also have a long weekend in Savannah in August. And then our international trip is scheduled for September, October.
Oh, where are you going?
We have London, Paris on the books.
Whew.
We
Nice.
did Italy. We did Italy last time, so London, Paris is on the books for this time.
Okay, so you've answered a question, the next question. So Sally,
Okay.
what's well, you mentioned Connecticut a few minutes ago. Is there anything else you have coming up on the books before the end of the year?
Oh, yeah. So there's the Virginia Beach trip. That's a group trip. It's not just our trip.
Yeah.
That's a motor coach trip. That's in October. It's October 21st. And then there's the Lancaster show trip, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That's in 1st of December, around that time. And then next year, start off the bat in February is Key West,
Mm-hmm.
Key West, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and then Australia,
Hmm.
and then Charleston. And in July is Canadian Rockies with Glacier National Park. I'm having that presentation August 21st.
Now, what's that called again?
Canadian Rockies with
Oh,
Glacier National Park.
okay.
It's a wonderful trip. We did that several years ago through Olive.
Oh,
A
yeah.
beautiful trip.
Huh. Um, your Lancaster, PA trip, you said is in December?
Mhm.
Is that to see Daniel?
Yeah, yeah.
Daniel. Okay. Okay.
And also includes Gettysburg.
Gettysburg. Oh, yeah. How many days is that one?
It's not very long, I think 5 days.
Oh, that's not bad.
Mm. We've got Cape Cod in September
Mm,
and Greece in November, and also Biltmore in Asheville in November.
next year.
Yeah, those are all group trips, and then they're filled in with individual trips I book for
Yeah.
people, like the Hawaii trip.
So is Biltmore, that's going to be with the Christmas theme?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anybody listening to this recording, if you've never been to Biltmore, especially at Christmas time, you have no idea what you're missing. It
Beautiful.
is
It is. They had just
amazing.
started to decorate it last time you were there. So
Ah, it is amazing. And always make sure that you get the headphones so you have the tour person in your
Mhm.
ear. You got to do it that way. And oh, that sounds amazing, Sally. Thank you for sharing
it's a
that.
pretty full year.
Yeah.
Of course, these are, I guess you could call them speculative um, groups because I build them from the ground up. I choose the trip
Mhm.
what I'm going to promote, and then build them from the ground up so they don't come packaged with a group already.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of work to, to get those trips out there, get them filled. The motor coach trips, I have to have 30 people for it to go.
Mhm.
The other group trips, like the Pacific Northwest, Australia, Greece, there's no minimum. So it's a little easier
Probably
in
the
that
less you
respect.
have, it is more easier to put it together.
Yes, yes, because I'm not worried about that. Have to have 30. No. So I had to cancel Niagara Falls. That was in
Oh,
July because I didn't have enough people. But that happens. So,
oh well. Oh well.
but
So,
it's it's a constant thing that's always on my mind.
oh well. Yeah. Um, well, I mean, let's face it. Summer, we still have half of July and all of August. There's many festivals out there. There's fun things to do. But in the same breath, you want to relax. You want to enjoy
Yeah,
the summer. You don't want to have your summer so jam-packed with things that you, when you hit September, okay, and you're winding up for the rest of the year, you really don't have any time to relax. So in your opinion, Kathy, um, how do you feel about, what are you spending your weekends doing? And are you putting in time to relax? And if
Well,
you are,
yeah.
what are
Well,
you
for you
doing?
guys that know me, you know that we're quite the hiker bikers. And so we still try to do that even in the middle of all the work. But, um, I have to admit, for the last 8 weeks, we've just been kind of keeping our nose to the grindstone, getting these properties flipped and re-rented. I had 6 that I needed to flip and re-rent, and we're down to the last 2.
good for
So
you.
yeah, so we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, but again, and that's the way it is. You have to take care of business when you need to take care of business,
Right.
and play when you have time. And just now, I was off the grid for a minute because I'm flipping these rooms, and one of my guests, and I know exactly who because he just checked out this morning, has cut his hair in the sink and had the entire drain clogged up with hair. And Mark had to take the drain apart and clean out the drain. So we just did that while you gals were chatting.
Some people.
I wonder about people. I sincerely do.
Yeah. So I started to wipe the sink out and I came up with a big wad of like
Yeah.
cut hair. And the more I looked, the whole drain was just packed full of hair.
Ah,
So Mark had to take the trap off at the bottom and unclog my sink before my next guest could check in.
well, and that's an easy fix. I mean, if you know what you're doing, that's an easy
It's
fix.
irritating.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, exactly.
it's so I'm like, here's the thing. You mentioned the weekend, and it's really hard to not plan things around the weekend. We don't have to wait till weekend.
That's true. My best days off is Monday, Tuesday, because that's when I'm the slowest at the B&B. And so if I want to, do something or hang out with a girlfriend or do whatever, the Monday, Tuesday is kind of my day. But you know what? I got used to that in the salon business because in the salon business, we were crazy busy through Saturday, and then Sunday, Monday was my weekend.
Mhm.
So it's just whatever business you're in, because we just had this conversation this morning. A lot of people want their audience to match their lifestyle
Yeah.
instead of them matching their audience lifestyle.
Mhm.
And then they don't succeed because they go, well, I don't want to work evenings. I don't want to work weekends. I don't want to work that early. I don't want to work that late. Well, then maybe you need to pick a different business.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're not going to succeed. You have to make yourself available when your audience is available.
Right, you do. And I agree totally with you. I mean, I'll just jump in here. I mean, if I had a job, I would not have been able to leave June 3rd. And actually, when I finished this past Sunday, finally come home and stay, because I have been house sitting and and just enjoying my life. I mean, every day, but I can work from anywhere. Like Kathy
Yeah.
says, we can work from anywhere as long as you have a phone, yeah, a phone, whoop, here, a phone, and I don't know, paper and pencil if you have to. You can work from anywhere. You don't even need your laptop most of the time. So I totally, I get it. And um, I mean, it's not often, but once a year, that it just worked out this summer from June until now that I had house sitting jobs, one right after the other. But yet the first one in Charlotte, I wasn't house sitting. I was in my own little she shed. My daughter brings me her, she puts her camper in the driveway, and that's where I live. And I'm telling you, people say, what? But you have no idea the freedom that it makes you feel. And you're able to regenerate your inner self, because I'm not in her way and the family's way. And I can sit out there and I can do whatever I want to do. And people just have no idea that, and they go, well, what am I going to do all this time? I read through 2 books while I was gone. And the one of them had 650 pages in it. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to digress there, but really, you got to think about it. And
No, I love that, Debbie. I love what you're saying. And everybody goes, oh my gosh, aren't you tired of working? You worked all those years in corporate, and then you worked all those years in the salon business. And why are you still running a bed and breakfast? And I'm like, you know what? Number one, I get paid to do it. I can't believe that people come. It's like hanging out with my friends. They come and they chat and they visit and they sit in my parlor and they pay me when they leave. And then when I flip the rooms, I get to turn my audiobook on, and I go through probably 2 or 3 books a week, because I listen to my audiobooks when I'm flipping the rooms. And it's my, flipping the rooms becomes just something that you kind of are on remote. You don't even have to think about it after a while. Because I've done the same rooms the same way. This is going on year number 8. So I don't even think about what I'm doing. And I can really get into my story, and it's almost a relaxing time for me.
yeah,
It's like, oh, good. I get to go flip. And Mark will say, you need some help. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Thanks. I want to go listen to my book. You just go fly airplanes or whatever. I'm good. But I'm glad he was there today, because he unclogged my drain. But
well,
he's now gone. He's
Kathy,
now off to go fly airplanes.
there you go. Well, when you say that you're get in such a rhythm and do the room, and you don't even have to think about it. And the first thing that came to my mind was, it's a lot safer for flipping a room doing that than how many times are you driving and you get so engrossed with just the scenery, and all of a sudden you wake up and
Yeah.
go, oh, I'm driving.
How
Now,
did I get from there to there?
yeah, I remember back in the day, I would drive from Lancaster up to Delaware, and I was this was in my younger days, and I was doing independent healthcare, and so I had to go check on this little guy up in Delaware, and so I started listening to audiobooks back then, or podcasts, or whatever I felt like I was in the mood to listen to. And I didn't have to be at his place at any certain time. I just had to check in on him like 3 times a week. And so I would actually get there and I would be in the middle of a chapter that would be so good that I would drive around the block instead of pulling in his driveway because I wanted to get to the end of the chapter.
I know, I've done that.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I used to have to drive from Lancaster to up to Upper Arlington every day. So I got into that habit of audiobooks.
Yeah.
And Ed did a lot of driving. He preferred driving for sales calls rather than flying. So he just get audiobooks.
Yeah, I love it.
Hmm. And well, audiobooks, I mean, they really are. They serve the purpose, whether you're driving or sitting on a beach or by the poolside or whatever. And while I was in Charlotte, we went to a Goodwill. And of course, it was senior day. I came home with 12 books, and it was like, whoa. And some of them are the complete works of like Dr. Zhivago. And it was like, oh, I've always wanted to read that book. And it's in a great leather hardcover. But what's cool is, and I think I mentioned this before, on the inside, it is written the history of who and why this book was given. And it was like, wow, I never would have thought of doing that. So did we get away from our summer? This has been great conversation, ladies. This has been so fun. But I got a
Well, how's
question
the
to
summer
ask.
been for you?
Wow. Well, the last full month in that it's been very relaxing. But now that I'm home, I got lots of things to catch up on, but yet I am not forgetting me time. And so, I get up, I do my Bible reading, and then I catch up on anything that I need to do. I have office hours, and then I take the recliner and sit out in the sun. If there's no gardening to do, but it's been so much fun, and I'm relaxed. I mean, I have to go to Buffalo in the beginning of September for my brother-in-law's celebration of life, and which, I keep in better contact with my sister. They're in Oklahoma. And I'll tell you, since my brother-in-law had the stroke, hers and my relationship has just become very solid. Whereas before it was like hit and miss. But anyways, that's another conversation. Do you think that you've had enough relaxation so far in your summer? Just
No.
teeny bit? Yeah. So,
But that's my fault. Because I'm not a relaxed person, and it's very hard for me to just kick back, relax, don't do anything, don't think of anything.
well,
All the little pieces of things that need to be done. But that's kind of my personality. So
yeah.
no.
Here's a
The most
question.
relaxing time I had was in Hawaii.
Oh, someday.
And I didn't have to, it wasn't like a bus trip. We had a great tour leader. It was a relaxing tour. And I didn't have to concern myself with anybody
Yeah.
or anything,
Mm.
So that's probably the most relaxed I've been all summer, all year. I know, 71 years.
Oh, Ruth is coming in. Hang on a second. She told me she had a pedicure to go to today.
Ooh,
Now there's some relaxation.
yeah.
Oh, look at that. She's in her car and she's got her sunglasses on. Oh my gosh. Ruth, you look awesome.
Yeah.
Hi, Ruth.
Hi. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
I just told everybody that you had a pedicure to go to.
I did.
Okay.
And it was nice. I don't usually do that, but I need to start because it's just good for your feet.
Did you relax?
I did. I had to. She wouldn't let me not. I had this gal that she kept saying, relax your toes, relax your foot. And I said, well, I don't do this very often, so you have to help me know how to help you. And then when she got ready to put my sandals on, she even told me to close my eyes.
Really?
She has learned that people try to help her put the shoes on. You know what I mean? And I think some of that could carry over to different parts of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let the professionals. Oh, this is interesting too. I'm sure you guys want to hear all about this, but that's okay. We could talk about a lot more deeper stuff. But she asked me if I was a teacher or a nurse, and I said, well, what's behind the question? Basically, I said I did teach for a while. And she says, I have found that nurses and teachers have a hard time relaxing their feet. And I said, well, I didn't teach that long, but I was in HR management, so that might count.
Probably crunching up your toes all the time.
Always being on, feeling like you can't relax. You've got to be ready for the next thing that comes up.
Oh, yeah.
What have you guys been talking about?
Well, I put
Relaxing, actually.
What was that?
Really?
I said relaxing,
Okay.
actually, is what we were talking about.
Yeah, we were. We were talking about some things for the summer because it is July and activities, if we've relaxed, if we've reached any of our summer goals so far. And I mean, I'm telling you, our conversation has been all over, which is a lot of fun. It's a lot. It's nice to do that once in a while and not have the regimen of, certain things. So
Hey, that's relaxing in itself.
yeah, yeah, it is. And I told Kathy yesterday, I said, this is what I was going to do. And she said, go to Chat GPT and put in a question so that you can come up with a question. So I said, okay, give me 10 questions about how your summer is going. And bam,
Oh yeah, it just
there we
comes up.
go.
And it goes so fast.
It is.
And I want to just relax and enjoy what I've got.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. Enjoy what you've got.
It goes back to that thing that I've shared with you guys before, that to be productive from a place of rest.
Yes.
Well, and I can share a little bit about that, because when this first flip came, and the biggest one and the hardest one was the first of the series of 6, and the last one, this one's going to be a breeze. It's so easy. But the first one was the hardest one. That was the big one I was just talking about. And my first reaction was I became very anxious, because I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to cost so much money. And knowing what costs are, I knew that $20,000-$30,000 wasn't even barely going to make a dent in trying to rehab this house. And we ended up spending 35 plus by the time we got done, all said and done. But anyway, I was anxious, and I even voiced that to Mark. I said, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And this is going to cost a lot of money. And the contractors are all busy, and it's going to string it out. And I've got mortgages to pay, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I finally had to have a little chat with myself. And I just had to look in the mirror one day and say, you know what? It's all going to work out for the best. It's going to work out. This is just a bump in the road, and it's going to work out. And you know what? Then the next one came empty 2 weeks later, and then a third one came empty 2 weeks later, and then a fourth one came empty 2 weeks. I thought, good Lord. Talk about trial by fire. I thought, I'm going to have to figure this out. And at that point, the project with all of those, and you gals can appreciate this, the project with all of those in a row became so big that I had to let it go.
Mm.
I wanted to control it when I thought, okay, it's just this one thing. I can fix it. I can control it. I can make it happen. I can, manipulate it and get it flipped in a hurry and get it rented and get the mortgage paid and all. But when it finally got so big that I could no longer control it, I had to let it go and say, I just have to work the systems. I've got my systems in place. I just have to be faithful to my systems and let go of the big project mindset that I've got 6 houses to flip.
Yeah.
Just work the system. Just do them in the order that they popped, run it like I'm running a big. I thought, if I can't handle 6, how could I ever 10x my real estate business if I can't even handle 6? And so I kind of had to give myself a talking to. So this has been a huge learning curve for me to realize that my systems work. All I have to do is work my systems, take them in order, take it bite at a time, back up from looking at this huge project. Yeah, eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Mhm.
And just pick up the one folder and say, my job today is to get carpet in this
Mhm.
one house. That's the job today.
Mhm.
It's not to carpet 6 houses. It's just the one. It's the only job I have today. And once I realized that my systems were soundproof and they did work and all my contractors were there, I just realized that it's not as big. It's not as big and scary as my first reaction was. My first reaction was to almost have a panic attack.
Oh, yeah. Anybody
Yeah.
would have.
Yeah. So that's probably my biggest lesson in all of this is I can be productive from a place of rest. I don't have to show up at my desk all in a tizzy every day. I can take a deep breath and show up at my desk and say, what's the one thing I need to do this morning? What's the one thing I need to do after lunch?
Yeah.
That brings me up to something goes right along with that, Kathy. You're right on. This other program that I've been a part of, and I was doing it at first, but I quit. I'm bad on me. But it only says, what is the one thing that would move the needle forward today?
Mm-hmm.
What is the most important thing that I need to do?
Ruth,
Is
you're
Ruth
breaking
cutting
up.
out? Yeah, she's in the car, so I think she's in and out of a signal.
So narrow it down to one, probably, and it's going to get worse. So we haven't hit the bad spots yet. I can usually listen when I hit the bad spots, but I know Kathy and I tried to do a connection call months ago.
It's
Uh,
sickening
and
to
I
watch
kept
somebody in slow
saying,
motion. I shouldn't laugh.
and she couldn't hear me. So
You sound like you're taking a hit of helium.
I can get off and just listen.
Yep, it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna quit talking.
There. Oh, now she's back to normal. You're on
Oh,
mute, Ruth.
he's on mute now.
I was just gonna go silent and turn my video off. I think I will.
Okay.
Well, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick. Okay. It's been a strange summer so far. hot. And of course, what was it? Sunday, it was so cold. I mean, really. So,
And then we had the hurricane that blew through yesterday.
oh yeah. Did you see my picture on Facebook?
Yeah, I did.
So I saved my sunflowers. But I mean, has the weather interrupted any part of your summer so far?
I don't. I like to enjoy our patio out back. And I have to tell you, one of the things that we did have done that really relaxed me, because every time I looked out there, it was bad. I had somebody come in and pull weeds and put mulching out. And it's a guy I met at the Pickerington Home and Garden Show. His name is Brandon, and he owns Mo, Ohio. And he did it for $200
Really?
with the mulch and everything.
Wow. That's
So
pretty
we paid
cheap.
him 300 because he had another guy helping. It took him like less than 2 hours to get that all done. But now I can sit out and enjoy the patio without looking at all the weeds and all of that. But I don't do that when it's so hot.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice though. Kathy, what about you?
Well, it might have, because we were scheduled to go to Florida, of course, right about the time all of these flips came up. And so I pushed that trip out. But the folks in Florida were saying that it was 130 degrees down there, that they were all just staying inside. Nobody was out doing any. And we love to hike and bike and walk on the beach and spend our time outdoors when we're down there. That's one of the things we love. So I think we kind of dodged a bullet in a sense, because I don't know. I think it's not quite as hot now as it was, and we're scheduled to go in a few weeks, but it really hasn't affected me with the heat because we've been working inside on all these projects. So,
Yeah.
and so it's been okay.
Yeah. What was it? Last week we had the first, I don't know. I was coming home from Lancaster. Yeah, it was a week ago this past Wednesday. And I was coming home from Lancaster and I was watching the dark clouds coming, rolling towards this. By the time I quickly dropped off stuff to get ready to go over to the other house, it hit so bad out here that I had to sit at the end of the driveway and wait because I couldn't see anything. It was raining so hard. And I thought, oh, it's going to flood all of the tomato plants and everything. But actually, I think the ground was so dry that it soaked it up really well. And just keep in mind, I'm going to have tomatoes in September, okay? Because they got in so late. And I'm going to be posting some more pictures here today. These two humongous, I mean humongous, rogue plants that grew from the stuff from last year, even though we tilled it all in. And I'm going to post a picture of what's been growing in there. And they are like, well, they turned out to be zucchini. My granddaughter cut one open last night and it's zucchini. But I'm telling you, there's one that we have that is this fat and they're huge. But we had no idea what was going to come out of it. But yet, anyways, and also the pictures of my raised gardens, raised ones that I have. I decided I wanted to try cauliflower. So I found 2 plants and I put them in there and they're huge. I don't have to bend over and pick my radishes. I don't have to bend over and pick my carrots or weed them because I use the seeds that are in tape. And I just lay the tape down. I mean, I got carrots last year that were like,
oh, wow,
this big. So anyways, and strawberries. I have strawberries in one of those raised containers. Ricky gave us a thing of 6 plants, and they have so many shoots that I have to start transplanting the shoots because it's full. But every other day I go out and I can pick a couple of strawberries, and they're still, I mean, they're so good. But anyways, and I planted, there's a lot to say for if you want to have a garden and you don't have the room, buy a tomato plant, put it in a flower pot. Right now, whoop, if you can see this, these are orange tomatoes. That's as big as they go. The orange are the sweetest cherry tomatoes we have, and we started growing them 2, 3 years ago. So now this year I just put in one pot because that's all I can put up with because they flourish so much. But I mean, these things are amazing. So anyways, well, it's after 2 o'clock. And sorry we went over, but this has been so much fun. I'm so glad we did this. And I wouldn't put it past me to do it again, but I'm going to give you an advance warning. Next month's fireside chat is going to be amazing. And I'm just going to say, you're going to want to make sure you're there from the start because it's going to be amazing.
What date is that? Is that
It's
the 9th or the 10th? Maybe the 9th.
I knew what it was. Actually, it's the 16th. Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. What am I thinking?
You're the second Friday of the month, right?
Yeah, it is. Oh, I gotta fix that.
So
I looked at
that's the
August
9th.
and I went to the 16th by mistake, but that's okay. I can fix it. So, hey Ruth, is there any last thing you'd like to mention before we lost her?
We lost her.
Well, ladies, and those that are going to be listening to the recording, I've hoped you enjoy this recording today. This time we've had together has just been so fun, and it's really nice to learn about the people you see on Zoom. No matter what you're doing, it's nice to have a free time to just chat. And I like the one that you do on what is it, the last Monday of the month?
The last Monday. Yeah, the connections over coffee. That's all it is just a chat. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so much
Oh,
fun. I'm glad
Kathy,
you do that.
There's 5 Mondays this month.
There
So
is.
how you working at it?
I usually don't have anything on the 5th Monday. The 5th
Fifth Monday.
Monday. Yeah, if there's 5 Mondays, the 5th Monday is an Ask Kathy Anything kind of call.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. Yeah, usually I take a break. So, well, anyways, ladies, thank you very much for coming in and enjoying our chat today with all of you. And I look forward to seeing everyone next month. And actually, it is August 9th, not the 16th like I thought. Have to fix that one. So anyways, if you need to reach out to anyone that's on the recording, Kathy or Sally, reach out to me and I'll make sure I get you their contact information. And so thank you, ladies, for joining us today. I'm going to hit the stop recording, and I